All right, guys, we're now going to see how to make our own front-end Python client to the OpenAI language model. So the first thing we did is follow in our lab workbook, which you have the link to, and you went to this URL right there, platform.openai.com apps. And then when you did that, you got to here, and now you go to your account over there, and you say view API keys, view API keys. So there's the pricing if you want to put some money into your account, not too much. So you're spending like 0.03 cents per 1,000 words of query. But if you don't want to do that, it doesn't really matter. Our exercise will still work. You can work it with the free API key. So once again, we went to this URL. We went to our account up there. We say view API keys. Now pay attention. You see here we have this screen right here. We're going to say create a new secret key. And give it some name. I'll call it October 4 class. And I'll say create secret key. Now this is the only time you're ever going to see this key. You cannot see it again once you get out of there. And I'm going to burn this key at the end of today's session. I'm going to erase it, which I suggest you do. If you do get to working with your API keys, be careful with them. Don't upload them to GitHub or something, because apparently there's people who write bot programs to go and steal your keys so they can, kind of do queries with your money or whatever. But I'm never going to see that. In fact, a good practice we'll study in the future is in your Python program, you can store your secret key in an environment variable in the operating system, and then your program can go and access that environment variable so nobody will ever see it. But for right now, I'm just going to do it the simple way. So I'll just use a notepad to save it. Where did my notepad go? Oh, I lost. Oh, there we go. So now let's go and make a program. Now we have API key. Now let's go and make a program. And your program code is available right here. And I deliberately make you to type it out because if you copy and paste it, you won't learn too much. So if you go over to your PowerPoint, that's our first simple example. So here in Python, we're going to say import open API, and then we're going to set our open API key. You're going to paste in that key you just made. And then here, I'll talk about this after we do it, right? Let's get it up and running. But basically, OpenAI is a Python library that knows how to talk to the OpenAI model, and you can send it queries, and you can get results back. And here we can play with different kind of models and stuff. But we'll get to that in a while. So first of all, I want everybody to spend a couple of minutes now. Just retype. Go to your text editor, which you used before, to do the hello world example, and just retype this code. Just retype it. So you can get it by refreshing your lab, or I will also drop this out as a link to the chat box. Just take 2 minutes to retype it. So I'm now putting this screen image in your chat box, and I'll retype it with you to sort of keep you company. So I'm going to open a notepad. And I'm going to retype it. And you might not understand it. That's okay. Understanding will come after you've done it a bunch of times. So we're going to say import OpenAI. That is a Python library that's available to your Python Anaconda environment. It knows what to do with that. And now we're going to say open AI, and we'll use the .accessor notation, API key equals whatever is your key value, right? We'll get to that in a minute. And then we're going to say completion. Now, completion is a Python object equals OpenAI. See, when you retype it, then it makes sense. When you just look at it, it doesn't make sense, but when you retype it, it does make sense. Completion equals OpenAI dot chat completion. That's an object. Now onto that object, we're going to use the dot accessor notation. We'll say dot create. And then we will pass, remember we said print, round brackets, hello world. Now we're saying create. That's another method called create. And we're using a certain model. I'll teach you about models in a little while. Equals, go with GPT dash 3.5 dash turbo. And then messages, we're going to get to what messages means in a little while. Messages equals. Now this is a kind of a data structure in Python called an array. And an array is a set of values in square brackets. And our array of input, we're going to give it a tuple. We haven't talked about tuples yet. We will get to them in curly braces. And now we're going to say role. So we're playing with the AI in the role of a user. And our content is going to be something called CL. And now finally, we want to print the answer that it's giving back to us. So again, print round brackets, and we're going to say completion, which is a reference to this object we made up here, completion, and we're going to call some data attribute of that object. We'll say dot choices. And choices as an array. We're going to study arrays later on. We're going to get the first element of that array, which is the 0th array. And then we'll use the dot accessor notation. We'll ask for the content of the message. By the way, up here, the content is whatever you want to pass in as a question. I'm just going to say the content is tell me a story. So we're asking the model to tell us a story. We're not giving any more specifics. We'll just say tell me a story and see what it comes up with. All right, now we should be good to go and run this in our Python environment, just like before we ran our Hello World program. So once you've got that, copy. And let's go back to our text file where we put our Python program before. There it is for me. There it is right there. So I'm going to erase that, select and press backspace. And now I'm going to paste in my new program that I just made. So just as an experiment, before we do anything else, let's try running it and see what happens. So we're going to save. And go to our command prompt. And there's my program. I'm going to check the timestamp of the update, which is 10:07. Make sure that that's the right program I just saved, which now it's 10:07. Let's try running our program. So we're going to say Python, because that's the name of our programming language interpreter. And we'll say Python program. I just typed the tab key to auto-complete that out. Let's press the enter key and see what happens. Well, first of all, I have, I see, yeah, because this is split across the lines. So here it's saying my round bracket, but my bracket here was never closed. See, I opened a bracket here, and yeah, it doesn't really deal with splitting across the lines very well. So press the delete key, and now bring those both onto the same line, and now that error message should be fixed. Because now everything is on one line. So save your changes, and let's run it again. So I'll press the up arrow key to repeat my previous command, press it twice to get back up to there, and enter. Oh, really? I thought I fixed that. What are they whining about now? Did I not save the program? All right, so here in my command prompt, I'm going to use the type command to see what the file actually looks like. So we'll say type Python program. The round bracket was never closed. This problem should not be happening. All right, let's go and study our code. So line 4, print completion, choices. So I'm opening and closing the round bracket there. And here I'm opening and closing the, I'm not closing the round bracket here. Haha. You see, I just forgot that. That's the benefit of typing it out by hand, not copying and pasting. If you would have copied and pasted, you would have never caught that. See, I opened a round bracket here. I did not close it here. So let's do that. Save and run. Save and run. Why is it? Oh, yeah, here we go. Look, it was just because I guess my system is running a bunch of stuff. I'm running the Zoom meeting and I'm running the Camtasia recorder and all that, so it took a little while. Let's see what its error message is now. Oh, I see. Incorrect API key. So I need to fix that. I need to put my API key in there. Now, guys, another thing, I did not get this error message because I've done this before. You have not done this before, so I'm guessing that you're probably getting an error message on this because you need to do a pip install on that package. If you don't know what that means, just do it for right now. I don't want to give too much explaining right now. I'll do that in future classes. For right now, I just want you to see some fun and cool results. So let's go here and say pip Python installation packager pip install Open API, or sorry, OpenAI. Now here it's saying my requirement is already satisfied, but I think probably you do need to do this, right? So you guys go and do this now. So you're going to say pip install OpenAI, OpenAI, and that's going to bring that package into your environment. So now I need my API key. So let's go and get it. And you go and get your API key. Where did I put it? So now save and run. Save and run. So it's taking a couple seconds to go out to the OpenAI server, and in a couple of seconds, it shouldn't take, oh, here we go. Yeah. So look, I asked it to tell me a story, and now it's told me a story. That's the story it came up with. I think that's pretty cool. But this is about a guy named Prince William, and I got to tell you, I have two daughters, right? So when my daughters were small, I never read them the story about Princess Cinderella, this helpless little girl who was obsessed with makeup and stuff, and Prince Charming had to come and save her. I didn't want her to get that story. So I told her story about the heroic princess saving the kingdom from the evildoers. And I also never really liked, I got to tell you the truth about this now, I never liked that the dragon was always the bad person. Honestly, has a dragon ever done any bad thing to you personally? I know a few dragons, they're all pretty nice people. I don't know why we're saying that they're bad people. I don't really get that. Human beings are bad people. I think dragons are pretty nice. So now let's change our prompt engineering. So I'm going to go here to my code. And I'm going to say, shoot, did I close it? Oh, it's here. Okay, good. Now I'm going to specify a better prompt to make a more interesting story. So I'm going to say content, tell me a story about a heroic princess who worked with her faithful assistant dragon, who worked with her friend the dragon, to protect the kingdom from evil criminals intent on harming the people. Let's try rerunning our story now. So save and run. So do you understand what I mean now when I say that we're going to learn how to use the AI as the back-end controller for our model view controller? In the old days, it would have been like a simple procedural program, like a C program. Why should we do that? Now that we can talk to OpenAI, why not use it? That's the emerging sort of way of doing things here in IT. All right, let's see what it comes up with now. So once upon a time in the beautiful kingdom of Aloria, there lived a brave and wise princess named Seraphina, known not only for her stunning beauty, but for her incredible bravery and kindness. One day, an evil gang of criminals began terrorizing the kingdom, spreading fear and chaos. In her quest to protect the kingdom, Seraphina sought the help of her loyal and majestic. This is making me cry. This is so beautiful. The heroic dragon named Draken. Well, why not? Draken possessed immense strength, ability to breathe fire, making him the perfect ally. Seraphina and Draken dedicated their time and efforts to devising a plan to counter the criminals' actions. They studied the battle plan, listened to the worries and concerns of the citizens, and strategized to safeguard their beloved kingdom. In the epic battle between good and evil, the princess's dragon fought fearlessly among the criminals. With every swing of the sword and every fiery blast from the dragon, they banished the tormentors. The heroic princess and her loyal dragon proved the strength and courage, combined with compassion and friendship, can conquer even the darkest forces. All right, have you guys all got your story going now? Here's the next thing. Oh, actually, I'm going to turn off the recording because I think we've got enough. I don't want to make it too long. Maybe I'll make another